Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Chris. I'm one of the co-founders, president, and technical guy behind Keto Chow. Got
Hi,
Miriam over
Miriam.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And over here, we got Ken and Neisha Berry, right?
Oh.
Hey, folks, how's it going?
Who are you guys?
So I'm Ken Berry. I'm a family physician. Been practicing medicine for over 22 years and increasingly realizing that nutrition is really the bedrock of medicine. Without good nutrition, no amount of pills or injections are going to save you.
Okay.
And I'm Neisha Salisbury, registered nurse and health coach. I've been in healthcare for nearly 20 years. Started out as a CNA, then an LPN, then an RN, then I married this guy, and somehow we've ended up being on YouTube talking about nutrition and how health can be optimized by simply changing a few things in your diet. And I'm his sidekick, basically.
Or is he your sidekick?
Yes, that is correct.
Because I absolutely know who tells who to go where. And
Yep.
He never knows what's going on. That's why Chris called us to make sure that we were going to be here today.
That's right. Well, now we've got a couple of things to talk about today, but first and foremost, you guys just reminded me before we went on that in San Antonio on April 6th, you guys are going to be coming to a meetup.
Yes, we are. We're very excited to come hang out with everybody in San Antonio, our home away from home. My family lives there, and we love San Antonio, and the people there are just always so kind, and we have a blast, and can't wait to meet everybody.
Yeah. Now, I have some of the details, what little details I had ready to go on lowcarbevents.com, but it's kind of a buy your own brisket. We're meeting at a burger place. Actually, I don't know if they have brisket there.
I think it's burgers. A burger joint. Yeah.
It's a burger place.
But buy your own burger. There you go. But we're just kind of meeting up, going to hang out with you guys. We're going to be there. Compass Wellness, which is Alyssa and
Terry and Lindy.
Yes, thank you. My brain went completely blank for a second there. Is Cindy going to show up? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Call her and see.
And did you just want to go to San Antonio because the eclipse is that weekend?
Yeah.
No, that was
That's it. No.
That was a total accident. But I mean, it seems like us and eclipses, it's the thing now.
Right? Well, this one we're actually going to go to, but that's not the only reason we wanted you guys here today, right? Mm-hmm. So months ago, years ago, actually, we were talking to Dr. Berry, and he came up with this great idea for a mineral supplement. Dr. Berry, can you tell us some of what that's all about? What is the Daily Minerals?
So my reasoning behind the Daily Minerals idea was, now that I am a farmer and a rancher, and I've been reading deeply in those fields, because I'm an amateur. Let's get that straight right up front. And I'm trying to learn about all this stuff. And I kept reading about how the vegetables and the meats of today, when you compare the mineral content from the 1970s, the 1940s, and even some studies look at the 1920s, the minerals are just not there in the food. Now, the minerals may still be in the soil, but the soils have been so improperly farmed for so many generations that either the soil is depleted of the mineral and it's just not being put back because people aren't farming the old way, where you raise some crops, but then you run the animals on that, let them pee and poop on it, basically put the minerals back in the soil. Or the soil has been herbicided and pesticided so much that you've lost the bacteria and the fungal growth in the soil that actually unlocks the minerals so that you can have access to the minerals in the soil. And I'm like, that's a big problem. And so Chris and I started talking several years back when we were in Nashville, I think, about we need a temporary mineral supplement for people, even people eating a proper human diet. Now, let me just say right up front, who really needs these minerals? It's not people who are on keto and carnivore. The people who really, really need the daily minerals are people who are eating a highly processed, standardized, factory-made junk diet. That's who needs the minerals the most.
Well, everybody needs
them.
Yeah,
everybody needs them currently. But if you're eating exclusively highly processed junk, you definitely need these minerals. But the problem with those people is they're not currently thinking about nutrition, right? So they have no idea how mineral deficient that they might be. And so we started talking back and forth via email about what should be in there, what the ratio should be, what the percentages should be. And we came up with the daily mineral drops. And I'm very proud of those. And like I said earlier, I want this to be a temporary solution, because 5 or 10 years from now, I want all the soils to be treated properly all over the world. I want people to be using regenerative farming techniques and regenerative ranching techniques, and to literally make the daily mineral drops and this new thing we're about to talk about obsolete. Like, I don't need that, because I only eat food from regenerative ranches and farms, and therefore I know I'm getting all the minerals my body needs. But currently, sadly, that is not the case.
Now, and so for those of you who don't know the daily minerals, it's a lot of potassium, a good amount of magnesium. Actually, I had that up right here. Good amount of magnesium, but also there's chloride, boron, copper, iodine, chromium, zinc, manganese. How do you say that? Molybdenum? I can never get it right. And
you have to
selenium.
practice that one.
Yeah. So a bunch of different trace minerals to kind of, and I joke around that Dr. Berry used to take a whole bunch of different supplements, and he got tired of taking them all, and so he told me to make one to rule them all.
Yeah.
One ring to rule them all.
Right?
Right.
Now, how does it taste, Neisha? How does
See,
the daily minerals taste?
To me, they taste like pool water. And
Okay.
I dogged these minerals, which I think a lot of people think is funny, because I should support everything that he does, right? But I was like, these taste horrible. But
again, evidence of who's in charge here.
But then right after I had Beckett, I guess because of all the fluid I'd lost, I had horrible muscle spasms. So one night at 1 a.m., I went to the cabinet, and I thought I had grabbed the electrolyte drops.
Oh, okay.
And I've been
which just taste salty.
Yes, and I've been squirting those in my mouth for a long time. That's just how I take them. And I didn't. I grabbed the minerals and I squirted a big, it was a lot. And I was like, but I was having a horrible, like I could barely stand on my leg. And it went away like that within just like 15 to 20 seconds of me downing those. And I was like, huh. Well, and so I started taking those more than I was taking the fasting drops, is I think what I usually use, because they have more salt in them. Yeah. But I still complain about how awful they taste. So I would, put a squirt in my water in the morning and then my coffee and just like disperse it throughout the day so it wasn't so powerful. But I'm not the only one who felt that way.
That's right. And I think what you're seeing here is the biological differences among people. Just like some people can taste the delicious yumminess of cilantro, other people, it just tastes like soap to them. They're like, gross. Why would anybody like this? I think that's because for me, the daily minerals just taste salty. Honestly, they just taste salty. And so I've never been offended by the taste, but there is a subset of people, 35%?
I think it's probably more than that.
55%, you would say, who are just like, oh, I can't tolerate the taste if I take the entire dose at one time.
But I was like, Chris, can we do a little something? Can we change how these are taken for those who feel like Neisha? And he was like, So,
and it's something that we've been working on for quite some time. Yeah. Because, now I like adding a little bit of lemon because it cuts the weird mineral taste. Mm-hmm. Miriam, you do like a teaspoon at a time, and that is usually okay.
I don't.
Ken, you usually put it on your food when you're cooking it, right?
Yeah, I put a few drops in my coffee. I've got some in this cup of coffee right here. And I individually literally cannot taste it in coffee, as long as I probably put 2 droppers full. And then, so each cup or glass of liquid, I'll put a drop or 2 or full. And then if I cook a steak or ground beef, I'll put a drop or 2 in there. To me, it just tastes like I've added salt to the meat. Can you taste it when I do that, when I put it in ground beef, or no? No. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or eggs. I've put them in my eggs before and they do fine in there, but
because keep in mind, these are minerals. No matter how high the temperature you cook your food, these minerals are not going to go anywhere. unless
Yeah.
you're reaching nuclear fission or nuclear fusion level temperatures.
You're
They're
not.
going to be in there. And so even cooking at 450 degrees, they're still in the food. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, we actually had some people who were saying, "Do you guys use synthetic vitamins in the daily minerals?" I'm like, "We don't use any vitamins. It's just minerals."
Yeah.
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 We
I
usually
think
recommend people
it's
keep it
different.
below 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right. Keep it under 7,000 degrees and you're going to be fine. Yeah. And another thing I love about them is that they're made in the USA.
That's true. They
Right.
are.
And because we're definitely trying to buy the least amount of stuff we can buy that was on a cargo ship coming across an ocean for a multitude of reasons. That
I
I'm
feel
going
like
to.
we're keeping people in suspense. We still haven't told them what is happening here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You ready?
These minerals come from the Great Salt Lake, and there's nothing synthetic or factory about them. They literally come from the Great Salt Lake.
So these are
So
the daily
here's-
minerals encapsulated. They're
Yep.
like a regular size capsule. So for
Well,
those of you who are like me, you can now bypass the taste and get the important stuff.
And they're the exact same size as our magnesium drops and electrolyte drops. And that actually was an interesting subject because you don't like horse pills, right?
No.
Nobody does, right?
Nobody likes horse pills, right? But in order to, and Dr. Barry and I actually had a discussion about this because in order to get the same amount of minerals in the capsules, in these guys right here, as is in a tablespoon of the daily minerals, like you don't realize it, but there's a lot of minerals in each tablespoon. And if you dry it out into a crystallized form, into a powder, it actually takes up almost as much volume as the liquid itself. And so, yeah, just to hold the liquid, the 1 tablespoon of liquid would require 17 of these capsules. When you take the liquid away, it's a little bit better, but it's still about 11 capsules to get a full daily dose like Dr. Barry recommended. That's a lot of pills.
Yep.
And we tried to get it smaller. We actually worked on this really hard, and we just couldn't get it any smaller than around 11 capsules.
Yeah. And I think that speaks to just how nutrient dense the daily mineral drops are. If anybody's got a container, you can fill up that container with just water from the tap and feel the weight of it, and then fill it back up with the daily mineral drops. It's significantly heavier.
It's like 40% heavier.
Yes,
it's
and that's
really
all the
heavy.
minerals in there. And so it took me a minute to wrap my head around this when I was talking to Chris. It's like it's going to take 10 or 11 capsules. How is that? Because if you evaporate the water, and it's just it's just how concentrated the daily minerals are is why it winds up being 10 or 11 capsules.
Yeah.
But you don't have to take all 8.
And
So
I recommend you don't.
It says on the bottle 8 to 12. So you can, wherever you're comfortable starting at, you don't have to take them all at one time. That's crazy, right? So take 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, or you could even, do it several times and spread them out that way. It's pretty much however you want to take them, right?
Yeah. And I think doing a 4-3-3, I think that or a 4-4-3 split up over 3 different times of the day. That's actually, you're probably going to increase your absorption rather than I don't recommend anybody take 10 or 11 all at once. I don't think it's dangerous at all, but I just think you may oversaturate some of the receptors and actually lose some of it. So I would recommend that you break it up 4-4-3 or 3-3-4 over the course of the day, a few hours apart. And that way you're going to be able to absorb it all. And then also you're not having to swallow 10, 11 capsules all at the same time.
Yeah. And again, we would have liked to have gotten this not only fewer capsules, but also less expensive. That's another thing that we really need to talk about. The cost of encapsulating these, putting them into a bottle, all of that. Milligram of minerals for milligrams of minerals, it's almost double the price of the liquid daily minerals.
So this little 8 right here that you're looking at,
Oh,
that's not right.
Well,
that's for the
that'll
tiny
take you
one.
to the QR code down below will take you to the main page where it has all of them. Yeah, it's this bottle right here is the same price as the liquid bottle. Now, to be absolutely clear, the liquid is not going away. And if the price is too much and people they're like, dang, I wish it would have been less expensive. We still have the liquid. We will still have the liquid. It is not going anywhere.
And another way that you could use it too is just putting the liquid in your food or doing like the small teaspoons in your water that you don't taste it, and then just using the capsules occasionally.
Mhm.
That's true.
Also for traveling, it'd be really nice to be able to have the capsules.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's
Whereas
a problem for us.
the liquid is really hard to transport. You can't have it in check bags. Like we have the little 2 ounce, but you need more than 2 ounces in a day. So
yeah, you do. So, yeah, that's the capsules. We did the best that we could, and this is actually to give some people a little bit more background. This was supposed to be out for Black Friday.
Yeah, we're a little late.
And they're trying to get it to a lower price point, trying to get it in stock. That's why it took so long. Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed out there in TV land, this is not branded Keto Chow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's salty, and I love. It's a really pretty bottle, and that means nothing, but I appreciate it. It does still have his big head on there. For those of you who were maybe interested in knowing that little fact, Dr. Berry's face is on there too.
Yeah, Dr. Berry approved.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, that's why it took so long. But yeah, we have it in stock now. It's actually ready to go. We got it out to you so you can try it. What do you guys think of the capsules?
I think they're perfect for, like you said, if you're just traveling or you're willing to like sacrifice the price for the convenience factor or the ick factor. And the more I take them, so like when I first started taking them, they really were yuck. And at this point, now when I put them in my coffee and things like that, like it's not as bad. Now, if you're just going to put it straight into your face, then it's still kind of bad. But now I'm so used to it. So you might start out with the capsules and then go to the liquid once you're like have both and just kind of ease into the liquid to kind of be accustomed to the taste of it. And you really do get used to it after a while. As long as you're putting it in a beverage or in your food or something like that, you do become accustomed to the taste. So I think that's an option for a lot of people to kind of just work their way towards the liquid.
Yeah. And also these would be great if you're going to be eating out, because I broke one of these open and tasted it. Again, it just tastes salty to me, and I couldn't get Neisha to try it.
Try it right
Try
now.
it right now. Yeah, let's see.
TV.
See if it's got the
Get my
mineral taste or if
reaction.
it just
All right.
tastes salty.
I'm breaking it open. You just twist it if you're
But
somebody.
if you're in a
who wants to do that.
restaurant, you could have 3 of these and just open them and sprinkle them on your steak or your bacon and eggs. Boom, you've got your minerals.
Yeah.
Is that as minerally as the?
It's got a lot of magnesium in there.
Yeah, I get the magnesium. It's a little burny.
A little burny.
So
See, again, it just tastes salty to me.
but that's straight to my tongue. Like I didn't sprinkle it on anything. So
Yeah.
Which, speaking of the electrolyte, the capsules of the electrolyte drops, we were
in Lake Powell.
in Lake Powell,
on a
and
boat.
we couldn't find any salt, and so we started cracking those open.
Put it on an avocado. It was amazing.
It was really good.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that I don't think I could taste this at all if you sprinkled one capsule on my ribeye and one capsule on my hamburger and then one capsule on Neisha's broccoli or whatever she's going to eat on ketovore. I think it would just make it taste salty. But that would be a great way to not have to carry a bottle of liquid in your purse. You could have these capsules and that's your minerals.
Janie makes a good point. What are the benefits? Oh, that's so you. Simpatico. What are the benefits of taking daily minerals?
Yeah, so very many people are body-wide deficient in the amount of minerals, and your body uses minerals for literally thousands and thousands of biochemical reactions inside your body. Sometimes
can you make minerals?
That's the problem.
No?
If the minerals are not in the food that grew in the ground or in the food that grazed on what grew in the ground, You cannot make them. No mammal can make minerals. Minerals are elements. Remember the periodic table of the elements from chemistry class? That's what's in these. You can't make that. Your body, nobody's body, no animal body, no reptile, no insect makes minerals. They have to get the minerals from the soil. And so many people are body-wide deficient in these minerals because they're eating a diet that is deficient in the minerals, and your body cannot make them regardless of what you're eating. You have to eat them from the food that you're eating. And that's the thing. And so iodine deficiency is very, very common. Molybdenum, chromium, lots of the selenium. A lot of people are body-wide deficient. Now, if you check your blood level, it may say normal, but that doesn't mean that you're not deficient, because many of these minerals are stored in your bones, they're stored in muscle, they're stored in other tissues. And if you don't have enough, then your body's just going to keep pulling that from your bones to put it in the bloodstream, so to keep that level normal, because your body needs that and uses that. And so you may be severely depleted in your bones of a list of these minerals, but if you just check the blood level, it's going to say normal, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I'm not deficient. No, not the truth.
Especially like magnesium, right?
Right, exactly.
You get, so to be clear, this says on the bottle, electrolytes and essential minerals. So you're getting electrolytes, just like if you were drinking salty electrolytes, you're getting the magnesium and the potassium. I think the salt content is not as high in the capsules. There's electrolytes. So if you were taking the daily minerals, capsule or liquid, then you could probably not drink as much salty. If you're further, like if you've been doing keto long enough, in the beginning, a lot of people need to increase those electrolytes because of that fluid shift. But once you've been steady, consistent in keto, carnivore, ketovore, whatever, then you probably could just start taking the daily minerals and or salty, just when you want to.
Yep.
And also I feel like the need for salt, it seems like the longer you do this, you don't have to get all that salt from electrolytes. You salt your food, and you're salting your life. You got a salty life. I salt everything that I cook, what the kids eat. Like I'm using Redmond salt on everything all day, every day. So you could switch from electrolyte drinks to the daily minerals and benefit more, because you're getting things that aren't in the electrolytes, like the iodine and what is it? Molybdenum?
Molybdenum.
That's a hard one. Things like that. And I think, honestly,
keep practicing.
I feel like when a lot of my muscle and the pain afterwards was because I was so depleted from pregnancy, that the mineral drops actually helped me recover more quickly than when I was just drinking my electrolytes all the time.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, and one thing to point out with these minerals, the ones that we're using here, is that they are all water soluble. Now, the liquid electrolytes, the liquid daily minerals, it's in an aqueous solution already.
That means water.
Yes. You are going to be able to absorb this stuff. The difference with the capsules is we've taken that and spray dried it. So it's still the form of those minerals that humans will be able to absorb. Like if you mix it with water, you're not going to end up with rocks at the bottom or chunks of molybdenum. You're not going to end up with that stuff at the bottom. And we're not using like magnesium oxide, which is actually just white paint. We're using the good stuff. And Dr. Berry, can you talk about some of because we've got a bunch of stuff that's pretty big, like the potassium and the sodium, and there's less sodium in this than we would like. But like Neisha, like you were saying, you can put salt on your food. I don't need to put salt in here.
Right.
You can do the salt yourself. But
yeah, because that would just increase the price and also increase the size of the capsules. Mm-hmm. And that was a deal breaker for Neisha and I, is these cannot be horse pills. The capsule's so big that you have to to swallow them. Nobody likes that. And I think a lot of people have come to see that as I'm doing something for my health because I'm taking this damn capsule that's so big that I literally have to do the chicken neck to swallow it. And you don't have to do that. But you can have a normal size capsule and it still be very, very good for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. But so we've also got things like chromium and we actually had someone asking us why we include chloride in our
Yeah.
products.
Chloride is an essential mineral. It is an electrolyte, but it is also a mineral, also an element on the periodic table of the elements. Again, necessary for hundreds, if not thousands, of biochemical reactions to happen properly in the human body. Actually, if you don't have enough chloride, that can be a rate limiting step for multiple reactions that happen inside of your cells, but importantly, if not more importantly, inside your mitochondria. If you don't have enough chloride or any of the other minerals, then your mitochondria are not going to be able to produce the amount of energy that you would like for them to produce. These things are mandatory for optimal function of any mammal, including humans.
Yeah. Now, is chloride the same as Clorox?
Chlorine.
No.
We actually had that question, and we were like, no, it's not the same thing. And they're like, well, if I throw it in water, doesn't it dissolve the bonds? Like,
no, it was, and so Clorox is a name brand of a particular formulation that includes chlorine, but and then chloride is the ion. Not the same thing. These things are all water soluble, and when you put them in water, or they come in water, like the mineral drops, that is in a immediately biousable form that your body's like, oh, I know what this is, and I need some of this, and so it immediately is shuttled to where it needs to be in your body to help optimize.
Yeah, nice. What about? Do you guys think that iodine is important?
Huge. I'm actually interviewing Dr. David Brownstein on the channel coming up this week or next week, who wrote the book about just how important iodine is in the body. The majority of people who don't listen to me or take the daily minerals are at least somewhat deficient in iodine. This is super common in modern society all over the world. And so many people don't realize that. A lot of doctors don't talk about it, but there are so many common symptoms that are just due to low iodine in your body. And there are several tissues in your body that actually take up and concentrate iodine. And that includes your thyroid gland, your salivary glands that make spit, and your breast tissue. All these things not only take it up, but they concentrate it. Now that takes energy, and the human body doesn't do anything that takes energy unless it's important. Also, every cell in the human body that's ever been studied has been shown to have something on the cell membrane surface called a sodium iodine transporter, or symporter. And for people who are not into biology, you don't have to know all this stuff. But for those of you who are a little bit nerdy, you need to understand every cell that we've ever looked at in the human body contains a symporter that moves iodine inside of the cell and requires energy to do so. Again, cells don't do things that require energy unless you absolutely need that. So yes, it is about thyroid health and breast tissue health, but it's about the health of every cell that's ever been studied in the human body, because they all actively do work to move iodine inside the cell membrane. And that's a big deal. As a biologist, you're like, oh yeah, no, the body wouldn't do that if it didn't need it.
Yeah. All right. Now, one other thing I'd like to point out, these guys right here and the liquid, we're not adding any fillers, any stuff to make them bigger, to take up more capsules.
We
actually tried to make them no, there's no rice flour,
no secret sugar,
no bran flour, none of that. A lot of times capsules, they'll add stuff like that, but we worked really closely with a co-packer. They could encapsulate these.
Multiple co-packers.
Yeah, actually multiple co-packers. The first one couldn't handle it. And one of the issues, this is more information than anybody needs, but the minerals that are in here, once they're dried, they want to absorb water. It's called hygroscopic.
Yes.
They want to suck it up. And so when they were running these bottles, they had to have the air conditioning turned super high. Anyway, it was going full blast to limit the amount of humidity that was in the room where they were being encapsulated, because it would stick to the machines. It was causing all sorts of problems because we didn't want to put all of those extra added fillers.
The binders and stuff.
There's no maltodextrin. There's none of that in here that would have made it a lot easier and probably actually would have reduced the price.
Right.
And
but then it made them more pills.
And I think that's an important thing for people to realize. Many of the supplements that you take out there, if you look at the ingredients, you're like, why is there cornstarch? Why is there maltodextrin? Why is that even in here? And it's because there's not much in the capsule. And so they, in their case, in order to make it look like you're getting your money's worth, they have to add fillers or stabilizers or something else to make it look like you're taking something substantial. And in the case of the salty minerals, we actually didn't have room to add anything except just the minerals, because the minerals take up so much space. And I think that's another testament as to the value of these. Yeah, they're pricey, but there's literally not a single filler in there because we had no room for fillers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We actually had to take out sodium. Come on.
Yeah. Right. I was going to say, if we were going to add something, it would have been salt anyways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Another reason why it's cool that it's made here in Utah, because it's so dry that it wouldn't have been a problem with the humidity.
Yeah, we could not have made this product in Tennessee or Florida or anywhere else. Now, and we do have it in capsules. We could have made tablets, and it probably would have not required as many tablets. But we learned through previous experience, we made a tablet for our electrolytes. And they worked really well until they got exposed to any humidity.
Yeah, and then
they turned to powder, and it was terrible. So these won't turn to powder. One thing I noticed with our magnesium capsules in the past is if I had them in like a pill, one of those, because I'm super old now, the ones that have the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If I accidentally left it in there for like 3 or 4 weeks, the magnesium capsules would actually fill up with water.
Especially when we went to Hawaii and there's no air conditioner there.
And I don't know if these ones will do that. So my recommendation for now for people, keep them in the bottle, take out what you need, close up the bottle, and it should be just fine.
Yeah. But in case they do, because the minerals are very hydrophilic, in case the capsule does look like, hey, look, there's liquid in here, it's still just the minerals plus some water that came in from the atmosphere. It's still perfectly safe to take those, and also you're still getting the full dose of the minerals.
Yeah. Now, for your recommended dose on the liquid, just for those that are jumping in, is a tablespoon. That gives you 1,000 milligrams of potassium. Can people take more than that? Can people take less than that? And then for these, you need about 8 to 10 of these capsules to equal that same. Again, what happens if you take fewer of them, or if you take more of them? Like what's
so for the vast majority of people, if you take more than the recommended serving, more than you need, you're just going to urinate that out. That's how the body deals with minerals. Is you're filtered out by your kidneys and you pee them out. That's what happens. Now, for some people, especially people who are currently on blood pressure medication, that sort of thing, you can take too much potassium. With some heart conditions, you can take too much magnesium. So you definitely need to stick to the daily dose and not take more than that. I recommend everybody just take the daily dose. I don't think there's any reason to take more. A lot of health and nutrition influencers out there have painted this false picture that, more is always better. Absolutely untrue. If you're deficient, then you need some, right? But at some level, you've filled up your tanks for that mineral. You don't need any more at that moment. Taking more, just going to make your urine more expensive. That's all that's going to do. So taking more is not better. There's no reason to do that unless you're severely depleted, and it's impossible to know that. So just take the daily dose and get on with your life.
If you're concerned, if you're afraid one of your medications may do something, you can always call your provider or even your pharmacist and say, hey, I'm wanting to take this electrolyte trace mineral supplement. Is there any medications that interfere with this? And they'll be very, very happy to help you. It's very easy for them to say yes or no to that. They know which ones do and which ones don't.
Yeah, I love that, but let me tweak it just a little. Call your pharmacist. The average doctor has no damn idea what your medicines interact with. And best of all is to call a compounding pharmacy who still makes medicine the old-fashioned way. They're going to be much more likely to not only give you an answer, but to give you an intelligent answer, because that's what you're really looking for. Many doctors, their default is going to be, oh, yeah, you don't want to take that with the medicine you're taking.
That's true.
And they're not even thinking about it. They've not even looked at the ingredients. That's just their blanket comment. No, don't take that with what you're taking. But a compounding pharmacist is going to be able to actually look at the ingredients, which you should share with the pharmacist, and go, no, this is fine for you. Or, yeah, it's got a little too much of this, that, or the other. You might want to avoid it with what you're currently taking.
Yeah. Nice.
That's a good point.
Yes. It's like literally their job to know what drug interactions are.
Right.
Earlier on, actually, this is a good question. Right when we were getting started, somebody asked if you give the daily minerals to your animals. I know we have given it to our chickens before. We would usually have like a tray of water that has electrolytes in it and a tray of water that doesn't, that's just clean
let them
water.
Self-select.
And guess what? Animals will pick which one they need.
Yep.
And they'll be able to identify the needs. And I don't know. I think it might be one of those things of, and we've talked about this a little bit before, when you are deficient in something, that thing tastes good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've had that experience before where like we've gone to take the magnesium, which the magnesium tastes like fire and sadness, unless you're deficient.
And then you're like, well, that tastes sweet. I must be deficient.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So you're right. Every animal can do this in the wild. And humans have temporarily, we've been bamboozled by the big food companies for so long that we think that our taste buds are just for pleasure. That's all they're for. They don't serve any other useful biological purpose. And that's absolutely false. The sheep in the pasture over here, I put out free choice minerals for them. And sometimes they'll just go after them. Sometimes they won't touch them at all. They're using their taste buds. And I think that humans have that ability, but it's almost like we have to retrain ourselves how to listen to our taste buds for anything other than hedonic pleasure.
Right.
Tell me how you really think. So do you ever give your animals the daily minerals, or you're using special stuff?
We put it in their water a few times a week. And then also I give it to, I have some plants that are just in water. They're not in soil. And so once a week, I'll give them some minerals too.
Oh, nice.
They seem to like it.
Okay. It's for people and animals and plants. Okay.
And plants.
Every living thing needs minerals. Every living thing.
Well, yeah, because like you said, we can't synthesize them. We don't have those nuclear fission reactors going. So whatever. Cool. All right. So we already talked about we get to see you guys in
Austin.
No, not Austin.
San Antonio.
San Antonio. I'm like
Texas.
No.
Texas. Yeah.
Saint Texas. San Antonio.
I know where Texas is.
Are you guys going to Orlando at all for that summit?
No, not this year. We're not going to Orlando this year. We'll be at the Keto Palooza in Louisville.
Okay. Nice.
And
love that one.
We're going to Vegas.
Okay. Are you going to the Low Carb for Better Health there in Tennessee?
Yes, we will be at that event. That's in Dixon, Tennessee.
Yeah, and then we'll be going to the Public Health Symposium in London in May.
Oh, I want to go.
Swanky.
Come on, girl.
Yes, Miriam. You know who wears the pants over in Utah. You just tell Chris he's going.
Book it.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, but you'll be skipping out on 2 children's graduations.
Yeah, can't do that. No.
Yeah.
No.
I love them.
Okay. Well, then I guess we'll be seeing you first.
In Vegas.
Wait.
Yeah.
Is Vegas first?
Yes, Vegas is next.
Vegas is first.
It's
Okay.
literally like next week.
I know. It's coming up really soon.
I'm not prepared.
And for any of you who don't know what we're talking about, Dave Feldman, Mr. Cholesterol with the Citizen Science Foundation, he has a collaborative science conference. He's got a bunch of people coming to present stuff. It's super cheap to get in if you are going to be in Vegas. I think it's like the minimum is like $25 donation.
Oh, yes.
And it goes to the Citizen Science.
It will not be live streamed, but it will be recorded later. And then I'm going to give it to him. I got voluntold to do the recordings, so that's fun. But
you're not bitter.
I'm not bitter. But, so I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. And then, it'll be great when we are able to get the recordings up. And well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Did anybody, I tend to dominate these things. You too, Dr. Berry. Did any of you ladies want to say something now that us guys are done?
No, I just talk about the kids anyway. It's fine.
I'm just really excited to have the capsules as an option. And thank you, Chris, for all the work that you put into making this a clean product, because that really matters to us and the people that we work with every day. And we want to support them in the ways that they need to be supported. So we appreciate you supporting our mission and hope everybody likes them.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, and thank you for putting your brain into all these big words, because I don't understand it, but I know my body needs it. So we're collaborative there.
Okay. Well, you all